All right,
Just
those of
like
you
it.
tuning into the replay, welcome. This is Wednesday Night Larson Life Group. I'm super excited to introduce our guest for the evening, Mr. Joe Martinez. I want you guys not just to hear these stats as I introduce him. I want you guys to type these into the comments because I want you to like write it, see it in writing from lots of people. I want you to wrap your mind around this a little bit. So, Joe is a managing vice president, 130 top contract level. You can correct me, Joe, but I think, are you the newest 130 in the company?
I am.
Yeah, newest 130 in the company. He is a top producer. He started in 2018, made $110,000 his first 8 months. Someone write that. 110K he made, didn't submit, made in 8 months. He made $240,000 his first full year on his own pen, meaning that was him writing policies, not recruiting a team, just him writing policies. $240,000 on his own pen. His team, his agency, did 3.75 million in 2024. January was a record submit month for them of 543,000 as a team. And February, his record for a 4 week turn in. Those of you that have been here for a bit know we get 3 months a year that have 5 weeks in submit and they skew all the numbers. And then we've got, 9 months that are 4 weeks. So his 4 week record is 470K. Joe, I was reading these numbers and just mind blown, as I think a lot of people are here. And I'm really excited. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight your video here, and I will join you in Spotlight. And I just cannot wait to have a conversation with you, man. How are you?
Good, dude. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really, really excited to have you on here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to jump on the call and share some stories.
Well, I'll tell you, man, those numbers are beastly. I need you to go back though, like start at the beginning for us. You started in 2018, but why? Where were you at in life that you were like, you know what, this ain't working. I need to go start selling life insurance. And then you could do anything but you came here. So like walk us through what brought you here in the first place.
Man, it was a hell of a story is what brought me here for sure. Again, anyone that doesn't know me, Joe Martinez, originally from Texas. Now I live out in northern Arizona. Um, Engaged, 4 kids. Funny story. If you know it, you know it. But just 20 years in the restaurant business is what I did. I was managing, started when I was like 14 or 15 as a dishwasher, moved all the way up to general manager. Um, Dude, I had a plan. I thought I was going to be an aeronautical engineer and be a pilot, but that didn't work out. I
Why didn't that work out? Just
Dude,
school
because
didn't work
somebody's
out?
always trying to tell us what we can or can't do is what is the reality of life.
I
That's
don't fit your
why.
personality.
Yeah, I hate being told what to do. But dude, I had a plan. I was, ROTC for 3 years. I graduated high school in 3 years. I was ready to get out. And went to go take I took all the tests and I aced everything that like, you can do whatever you want. I'm like, sweet, because I want to be an aeronautical engineer and be a pilot. That's the dream. And went to go do my physical and I didn't pass because I had flat feet. Still don't know what that means, but whatever. Uh, Good thing
I,
is I was willing to do whatever it takes to win at this game
I
of
don't
life, right?
I don't know what it means either. I just, more importantly than not knowing, don't know why that is bad as a pilot. Like, what?
Right? I'm like, I mean, I guess whatever,
You're
right?
wearing shoes, right? Like the bottoms of the shoes are the same.
Yeah, I'm like, my foot doesn't look flat. It looks normal to me. And what's funny is me and my best friend were actually signing up. He was going to go into the Air Force too, and he's a resident, right? Born in Mexico, but he was a resident here in San Antonio. That's where we graduated. But funny story, we both go, and so they didn't let him in because he was a resident alien, right? Not a actual citizen. So this is 2000 or this is year 2000. So then 9/11 happens. And so the year after that, literally, if you had flat foot or if you were a resident, you can go in after that, of course. Right. But hey, I believe everything happens for a reason, Jim. And so that year I was just like, well, whatever, right? I don't like being told no. And especially when I know I can go crush it, right? And so I was like, well, whatever. I come from a humble beginning. My dad made about 30 grand a year, right? And maintained our entire family off of that. My mom barely worked, right? She took care of us. And I was like, well, I was working at a restaurant, and I knew the GMs would make about 100 grand. So that was right, triple of what my dad
Big
had ever
money.
seen. It's huge money for
Big
us, right?
money.
And I was like, well, I can pursue that. I had already been there 3 years, and I was already moving up. I went from dishwasher to like the head line cook or sous chef, whatever you want to label that. And I'm like, well, I'm going to pursue this, right? Because it's still a great company. It's $1 billion company right now. They're actually the largest restaurant company in the world at this point. They own casinos and the Houston Rockets, if you know who I'm talking about. And so a great company, but dude, the corporate world is the corporate world. I started finding out really quick, right? It was self evals. I still don't understand what a self eval, because if I evaluate myself, I deserve a big raise and I should get paid a lot, but that never happened. And then all for what, Jim? It was a 2 to 3, maybe 5% raise, and after taxes, I would do the math, and it was like $87 per check. I'm like, woo,
Yeah.
and uh, I just started finding out that what they tell you, because my dad did really good. That we truly believe in every generation should do a little bit better, right? My grandpa came, my dad did better than him, and then my goal was to do better than him, and to every generation makes the family a little bit bigger. And dude, it was just finding out that how many times I heard you're not ready yet, you're too young, right? Give it more time, clean up a little. That one was crazy. And again, right, for what they said, hey, right, get a good career, work 20, 30, 40 years and you could retire. Dude, I'm a numbers guy, and so I'm 10 years in and I'm doing the math, and it ain't mathing. I'm like, there's just no way, right? Because 18 of those 20 years I had a 401k. When I left, I didn't have a year's worth of salary in it. And the good thing is I recognized that at the 10-year mark, and I'm like, well, this ain't working out, and there's somebody always stopping me. And
Mm.
then the bad part about the corporate world is people work there for years, right? Forever. And so once I got to the GM position, which was about year 15, it's like, well, if I want to move up, like my best friend has to die or quit. And that's not good.
Yeah.
And so, dude, I probably 10 years into it, I started opening my own businesses, what I thought was the American dream, right? Own your own business. And so I've had two car lots, a car wash, some franchise restaurants. So me and my brother are expert donut makers as well. And dude, just again, great money. Don't get me wrong, right? I think we were making at our peak, we were making about 400 grand a year, but dude, it was 100 plus hours a week. I was tied to my businesses, brick and mortar. If you ever had a brick and mortar, and it just wasn't what I thought it was. And what's crazy is everyone's telling me, "Oh my God, you're super successful. You own all these businesses, and it's great." Dude, I was dying in the inside,
Mm.
and dude, I was dying physically. I got a divorce. I gained 120 pounds. I mean, it wasn't pretty. It was not what I thought it was supposed to be. And so
It
I,
didn't
I
it
just
didn't
really,
feel it didn't feel successful.
dude, that kind of success will
People are
kill
gonna
you.
tell you you are the dream, and you're like, funny because this don't feel like the dream.
Not at all. So again, I'm always willing to do whatever it takes. So I'm the wild child and the wild card. I sold everything. Dude, after loans and money owed and stuff, I again almost walked away with nothing, right? After 10 years of owning businesses, of being successful. And I was just done. I knew what I wanted. Again, everything happens for a reason. What I did learn was I didn't want to be a small business,
Okay.
right? Or I didn't want to be a small business playing with small money, right? Because I heard this term thrown around about 8 years ago, and it just really hit home right when I had sold all my businesses. Is 100K is so 1980s,
Mm.
right? Because the 100K dude pays your mortgage and maybe two car payments and old car payments, and maybe a weekend here and there to go on vacation. That's about
Yep.
100K is going to get you.
Yep.
And so I just knew if I wanted to play with big money, I didn't want to work 5 jobs to make that kind of income. I knew I had to partner with big money.
Mm.
And so when I was looking for stuff, I was looking at franchises, bigger franchises than I had already messed with, or a bigger business, right, with bigger names. And so I even looked at like a Chick-fil-A, Church's Chicken, and even like a State Farms, uh, right, car insurance. And when I was just reading all the contracts, and from being in business, I'm like, these are crappy contracts. So
Mm.
like they say you own your business, but you pass away, my family doesn't inherit it. The it goes back to corporate office. And I'm like,
No,
well,
it's
that's
funny. I learned that lesson when I was first entering the insurance world, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. Like this was an option on the table for me, but I was also pretty deep down the like farmers franchise
yeah.
recruiting. And so like at the point, like I'm signing NDAs, I'm looking over the financials, I'm reading the fine print, and I'm in that same boat where I'm like, the math isn't mathing, the ownership isn't ownership. I'm like, man, they disguise a lot of stuff as roses and rainbows that just ain't.
Dude, it was crazy. Like when I started reading all that stuff, I'm like, man, they sell you a dream that ain't ever going to be yours, or at least it'll be yours while you're alive. It ain't going to be your family's.
Yeah, it's
And
not
for
legacy.
me, 4 little kids, right? Like, and my mission in life is to leave them in a better place than my dad left me. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So a ZipRecruiter ad and a call from Mark Neubauer, and I was introduced to Symmetry. And it's funny because I love your story, right? Like it just wasn't the right time, right? And so I was actually introduced to Symmetry in 2017 in August when I had left the first restaurant I was at. And I got into licensing, and I'm like, this sounds great, checks all the boxes that I want. So I jump into licensing. I also, right, we always have a plan B. So I had also taken another job that I was supposed to run like a couple of restaurants between Vegas and California. And so I started doing that and licensing at the same time, but I never got past chapter 1.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, Mark Neubauer dripped on me for months. So 6 months pass. It's now 2018. It's a Valentine's Day week, and it's barely Thursday, and I think Valentine was supposed to be on Friday. And so it's Thursday, and I'm already due like at 80 hours. I'm like, I'm gonna work like 140 hours this week because it was a new building, right? Just a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, but dude, their culture, I had never worked at a worse place. Like everyone was trying to fire everyone. It was, I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. And I'm like, but that's the restaurant business, right? Like everyone hates their job. I didn't realize how many people hate their job. Because for me, it was like I like what I do, right? Like I love what I do. I don't care what I'm doing. I just love what I do. And I'm like, man, if y'all don't like your job, why do you come in every single day? It blows my mind. And I was just done. I was like, I'm gonna try this insurance thing, right? I was really looking for white collar employment, right? Because all my other businesses was still, dude, I worked my butt off for that kind of income. And I'm like, there's too many people making money on a desk. And I want to make that kind of money. And so I'm like, I just took a leap of faith. I literally handed the keys that Thursday evening. I'm like, you know what? This is not what I signed up for. I'm sorry. And I'm out. I would live in a little town in Arizona, so it's about an hour and a half from Vegas. So I quit, and on my drive home, I call my girl, and I'm like, so I kind of did a thing, and so I quit. And she's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna try the insurance thing. I don't know where I'd be without her because she supports everything. She's like, can you do it? I'm like, I know I can. She goes, let's roll. And dude jumped in. Took me 6 days to get my license at that point. Right time,
Can
right
I
place for
pause?
me
Can I
at that
pause you
point.
for a second, Joe? Because I got like a question. I grew up a small town guy. I grew up really humble beginnings, right? And the idea of like white collar money, that big money, like wouldn't have ever crossed my mind to be like, oh, they're doing that. I want to do that. I would have wanted to do that, but there would have been a gulf that I, in my mind, wouldn't have known how to cross to even think that was on the table for me. So, like, how did you cross that gulf in your mind to be like, well, I mean, if they can do it, why can't I? Like, it's awesome for me to hear that, but I'm thinking, like, I don't think I would have known how to cross that line in my mind.
Man, I'm like the anomaly in our family. So there's 3 of us, my brother, my sister. So my sister's the oldest, I'm the middle child, and then my brother. Dude, I said this on stage. just in our last conference. And I don't, dude, 17 years old. I remember having a conversation with my brother and sister. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Why that idea was there, I have no idea, Jim. But I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, be in business for myself. Little things that my dad instilled in me. The only difference is what I didn't like that my dad instilled with me is we make money with our hands,
Okay.
right? And I just saw the potential. I love motivational videos. So I've always been in the self development world that I like, right? Like I'm just a big dreamer, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Okay.
And so because of videos and books I had read in the past, and not that many, very, very few, right? But I at least had a glimpse of what's possible,
Yeah. How
right?
can I
Like
can I ask how old are you, Joe?
41,
All right, you're not that.
42 this year.
Okay, yeah, you're not even younger than me because I'm like growing up, like watching videos. Like when I was younger, I'm like we didn't even have TV. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have YouTube. I didn't have
Just
a
a
phone. Like
dreamer, dude. I mean,
yeah, I'm
just
like where did you find these videos? I don't think my dad had those in the closet. He had different videos, something.
you know what? I guess that's a great question. Movies.
Okay.
I love inspirational movies. I love the romantic comedies where everything just right goes to crap and then works out at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And dude, like my brother and my sister laugh. They're like, dude, here's a romantic comedy for you, Joe. Right? Because it's the inspirational, right? Like everything gets taken away, or you hear a no, or it gets crushed, and then but at the end you end up winning if you do the right things.
Love it. Dude, that's
Right.
really cool.
And that's just what's always been on my mind. And I'm like, I gotta figure this out. And so Symmetry checked all the boxes, dude. I came in here and one of the biggest things that I love about Symmetry is it allows us to dream again. And
Mhm.
because one of the biggest things was uncapped income for me, right? And that no one has a thumb on us. No one, you don't have to do a self eval, request for a raise, ask for permission. Like you go at your speed. And that's what I was looking for, right? Like when I saw this was freedom.
Let's go.
This was freedom for me because there wasn't a Charles, there wasn't a Steve, there wasn't a another name, right? Saying, hey, you got to ask him for permission, or you got to ask him if it's okay. And that was freedom for me. It was in black and white. I do this and I get this.
And for those of you that don't know what he just held up, those are the promotional guidelines from 80 to 85, 85 to 90, 90 to 95. So these are the promotions where in the corporate world, as he's saying, those would be names. And to get that position in that office, in that place, that dude got to die or move on. And you're not getting that here. There's no names. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
And there wasn't the threat, right? Like there wasn't a threat of, oh, you're better than me. Like I need to get you out.
Let's go. Yeah.
And so, dude, I've just fallen in love. Owning my own businesses have taught me so much. The biggest thing is it's taught me so much freedom and symmetry. Like I think you told me when we were down in Tamarindo that I throw the phrase around that this is the American dream.
Yeah. Well,
And
I heard you talk about that from stage at conference some.
and dude, if people open their eyes, man, this is the American dream.
Mm.
I've never seen a business model like this. It ain't the insurance industry. The insurance industry, you can go find some crappy places to work. I've never seen a business model like this. I come from owning a brick and mortar where so many things can happen. The health department can walk in and give you a $1,200 fine. You better pay that tomorrow if you want to continue to stay open. Or your water heater will break on a Saturday night. Never breaks on a Monday lunch. It always breaks on
Never.
Saturday
In the
night.
restaurant world,
Right?
never.
And like there was just always all these things. And I'm like, you're telling me here, I don't need a brick and mortar and I can start with a couple $100 in leads. You're telling me I can even start without leads if I just go find some warm market folks. You're telling me I can be profitable in my first month here versus if I opened any other business I opened and it was a franchise, I had to go buy in for $150,000, $200,000. Like it was months or years before you cleared green. And you're telling me I can do that here. You're telling me I can hire as many people as I want and I don't pay them because the insurance carriers pay them. You're telling me I can help all of them make more money and it doesn't come out of my pocket. So I'm enticed to help them go even faster. And the only thing that does is make me go even faster. Where can you go? You're telling me I can go bring in all my friends and family and no one's discriminated because of that? Because one thing that I was willing to do, Jim, was I was willing to do whatever it takes. Everyone laughs or gets upset when I tell them I suck at this. I really do. I'm just willing to go do whatever it takes. The problem where everywhere else I worked, they didn't allow whatever it takes
Mm.
because it threatened them or they didn't want you to move up that fast. And here, I was just looking for a place that allowed whatever it takes. I was looking for a place that didn't discriminate against whoever was willing to go do whatever it takes. Because that's all it takes to win here. We don't have a magic formula. You didn't move, you didn't get to the top of the company at the pace you did because somebody else was worried about how fast you were going. That was freedom for me. When I say this is the American dream, I'm telling you, if people don't open their eyes, Jim, they don't understand this is the American dream. Nobody stops you from going as fast or as slow as you want, as wide as you want, at whatever time you want, at whatever schedule, at whatever work life time balance, whatever you want to call it. There is no rules here. That's what excites me. Do you realize there's so not rules, I don't even know how to say that correctly, that the next evolution of symmetry still hasn't even been discovered, that it could be discovered by somebody else on this call for the newest recruiting way to go as fast as you can, the newest way to write business as fast as they can, the newest way to make more income or massive passive income in a way that we haven't even looked at. That's what excites me, dude, because there's no one holding anyone back. One of the biggest mistakes anyone can do is come to me, Jim, and say, hey, like I'm struggling because of my upline. I'm like, you came to the wrong person. I'm like, you understand the reason I love symmetry is because it doesn't matter who your upline is, because no one is holding you back. That for me is freedom. It is insane what we can do here, dude. And right, I mean, back to what we said, that's how I discovered symmetry. And for me, that's why it was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do. Let me tell you, it sucked. I dialed thousands of dials. I feel like a dinosaur in the game. I was driving to appointments doing paper apps when I joined. And it was whatever it takes. I wish folks could have seen me in my bedroom on my bed because I didn't have an office, right? I wasn't a white collar employee. I worked. I literally pulled up a dining room chair next to my bedroom or to my bed in my bedroom, locked the door, and told my wife and the kids they can have the rest of the house so that I can dial. It took me thousands of dials to get what I wanted out of this. I suck at this. I'm just willing to do whatever it takes.
I
I
want I want
wish
to I want to pause on that for a second, Joe, because that's something that
I
you
get hot.
that's something you and I share really, really deeply. I was on a call with some other 130s, and I don't even remember which call or when because I'm on so many, but um, we went like a round robin, and each person had to answer like kind of what their biggest sacrifice was. Like what was their biggest sacrifice they made to get to where they were. And so, one person's answering, and then it came to me, and I had to think about like what was my biggest sacrifice, and I'm like whatever it took. Like I don't even think I got to the bottom of what I was willing to sacrifice. Like I was going to lose my house and not feed my family if I didn't figure this out. So for me it was like I don't care if this is 140 hours a week. I don't care if it's 8,000 dials. I don't care if I'm knocking on doors in neighborhoods or sending carrier pigeons or lighting bonfires for smoke signals. I don't care what it takes, but I am going to win. And then I got people that come up to me at conference and they find me in the hallway and they hear my story and they're so inspired by it and their back is against the wall too, right? So they feel this camaraderie and they're like, Jim, I'm right where you were. I'm desperate to make this work. I have to. And I'm like, great, here's what we need to go do. Yeah, but I'm going on vacation for 10 days with my family. And then I'm like, we are immediately not the same. Like, nope. My wife went on 2 vacations where I stayed home and bought more leads because they weren't there to distract me. Like
Dude,
you and I share that whatever it takes. And I feel like so many people think they're at their end and they don't have any idea how many more levels they got inside them.
dude, my 130 run. like it's funny, we're reminiscing on a lot of my runs, and like my AO run, I gotta submit or I gotta talk to somebody. I gotta talk to Todd or something. But I think my AO run and my 130 run have to be some of the biggest runs in Symmetry history. My AO run, I was looking at it, dude. I knew by week two I hit AO month one. Same thing for month two and month three. I issued over 100,000 month two and three
And
on
for those of
on
you
my
that are
AO
new,
run.
he needed 30,000. He issued over 100.
Issued. We submitted way more than that. And right. And folks are like, I stay thinking, Jordan Hunt, we were in St. Lucia on a carrier trip. You better go to carrier trips if you're in this industry. And Jordan Hunt's in the pool, and we're just talking about, right, like helping an agent get motivated. And the reality is we can't motivate somebody, right? And he goes, Joe, I want you to think about this. He goes, they say it's hard right now and their backs against the wall, right? Like they can't make a payment, right? They're struggling. And they're saying how hard it is for them to work right now when they have to, right? Like they're not going to pay a bill, right? If they don't go bust their butt and work and dial whatever it takes. He goes, you know what I'm afraid? He goes, what happens when 20, 30 grand hit your bank account and you don't have to? You know how hard it is to dial then? And so right now on my 130 run, I submitted 44,000 and I issued 40 grand on my AO run or on my 130 run in January. And everyone's coming up to me in our organization like, dude, you crushed it, right? And I'm like, they're like, whatever it takes, because I throw that term around a lot. And they're like, man, you did whatever. I'm like, I don't think you understand what whatever takes. I was on a 130 run and I wasn't going to miss it. And so we looked at our numbers and it was pretty cool because one, we didn't need, other than 8,000 in November of my personal business, is the only thing I needed and not the total, just on my half. And you know what that means, right? On month one. But month two and three, I didn't need any of my production. And we would have hit no matter what. We would have hit by a lot. So we ended up issuing, I think it was like 370 grand or something.
I was in Mexico with you when Snap came out and confirmed
Dude,
that
it was
130. It wasn't even close. You didn't squeak over the line.
right. We needed 225 and we issued 370 something.
Like stupid.
Right. And I'm like, I do this because I really want folks. I love what you said. Like people don't understand what whatever it takes really means. And so they're like, dude, you still crush it. You're such a great pro. I'm like, y'all don't understand. I still suck at this. So they're like, man, but you wrote 44 grand. And so we have an engage tracker, pretty similar to what y'all do in the mornings, right? And you look at your activity. And they're like, how did you write 40 grand? Like, how good are you? I'm like, I'm not. So my dials in January, I dialed 6,884 dials in January. I
Can you say that again? And can everybody near a keyboard put that in the comments? Because that is more dials than most of you are going to do in the next 6 months.
6,884 dials. I booked 169 appointments. I sat with 67 appointments and finally wrote 42 apps. I throw this term around a lot, which is I love to fail. The only difference is I aim so high, I expect to fail. But when I fail, it's so high up, dude, that it crushes just about anyone else's goal that they knew they were going to go hit.
Mm.
And that's where I stay a lot. That's my zone, dude. Like I love failing. I will aim so high, like I expect to be disappointed, but you know what? I also expect to win. They asked me to speak at our conference in Tennessee, dude, and that's the first thing I went up on stage. I'm like, look, I'm a 130, but I expect it to be a 130.
Let's go.
Right? It wasn't. I'm surprised I'm here because I wasn't, right? Because I knew I found a place, Jim, that allowed whoever wanted to do whatever it takes to that they can win here. And that, dude, I've been just pondering on the fact that you asked me that question, like you actually said you're afraid sometimes to say call this the American dream. And I'm like, dude, but it is. I'm like, there's so many things out there. I have never seen anything like this, right? Are there other great companies and stuff? Absolutely, right? But we found one of them. And the biggest thing here is you better start dreaming big because I've never seen anything like it. And nobody is restricted from it. Not an education, not a race, not a background, not a neighborhood, nothing. Not male, not female, dude, nothing. And when we really realize that, that's when you see people go do whatever it takes. That's the
Mm.
reality.
One of the conversations we had in Mexico, um, and I don't even know that it was you and me talking or me just kind of overhearing and just being the fly on the wall, just soaking up all that I could, like eavesdropping on purpose. But you're so big on profitability. Like, and it comes from running your other businesses, right? Like gross income is an irrelevant statistic. You got to look at the net after expenses. You're really big on that. We have a lot of agents in my agency, Symmetry wide, that ride this line of never quite profitable. So they're submitting business, they're getting paid, but they're, paying off the credit card that was the lead spend. And I lived there for about 6 months here. Where you're like, I made 140 or whatever in 8 months. I'm like, well, 6 months I broke even on my lead spend, and I just kind of rode this line of like I'd go into like credit card debt and I'd pull myself up to slightly profitable. And what would you tell the people riding this line of like they've been here 3 months, 6 months, and I'm a year, and they're just still not quite getting it? What do you say to them?
Dude, it's just my lessons here, right? It's dude, my first 6 months, I was not profitable. It was crazy too. I hadn't realized what I did when I came in here, but my first month, I wrote 12 grand. My second month, I wrote 15. My third month, I wrote 30 grand. I was still broke. Whatever I was doing, because I came in here to invest, I came in here to build
So
a
was
business.
this not issuing, or did you just spend a crap ton on
I just
leads?
spent a crap load on whatever I could, right?
Okay.
I was quick to go buy a laptop, right? Whatever, right? Like I was like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, right? Like I was just spending it, right? And I remember it's literally like month 5 or 6, and exactly what you said. I'm like, man, I'm still broke. Like, how am I issuing so much business? And because, dude, one thing, I am an issue king. If I write it, it gets issued. I have like
Okay.
I hold like an 80 to 90% issue rate on anything I write ever for a year. And so I'm like, man, I don't understand. So the good thing is, dude, I humbly believe I suck. So I'm great at asking questions. I'm like, Chris, I don't get it. How do you stay profitable? Right? Like I'm investing and dude, I came in heavy. I was like 4 grand a month in recruiting by like month 4. Right? Like I didn't care. I was pay for a funnel, pay a dialer, pay like I was not playing around because I saw the vision here. But I wasn't profitable, right? I was mismanaging a lot of it. It was me, right? We're always the problem. I can almost guarantee you that, right? And I'm like, Chris, I'm like, this doesn't work. He goes, look, Joe, I'm going to teach you something if you really want to build a big business here. He goes, you have a financial responsibility to be profitable. And I want anyone that's building a team, I want y'all to take that to heart. You have a financial responsibility to be profitable here. And that hit home because one of the biggest things I love about my life is I've always been a boss. But you know what I've loved about being the boss is I give people opportunity. Like I remember in the restaurant business, like my servers would make 60, 80 grand. It would change their life. Like if I hired a Jack in the Box, right, $12 an hour employee, and we hired them to become a server where we work, they made 60, like it changed their life. And for me that means the world, dude. I am a trainer and a future changer by heart, right? Like I give everyone that opportunity because it wasn't given to me. Like dude, I fought an uphill battle all the way to the top, right? And for me that's my passion. And when Chris told me that, it just brought me back to every time we hire someone. Danny Young says this, right? Like when you hire somebody, right, it's time for you to go to work for them.
Mhm.
right? But for me in my head, it's when we hire somebody, when we made them a promise that they can be highly profitable in this industry. And if you're recruiting and if you're building, I really want y'all to take that to heart. It is our responsibility to teach them how to be highly profitable. The only way you can teach somebody to be highly profitable is you better be highly profitable. It ain't our responsibility for them to go do the work and be highly profitable. And there's a difference there, right? Because a lot of people are not willing. That's why it's an 8% nation, right? In the insurance world, 92% of the people you talk to are not going to go do what it takes. And when he told me that, dude, that hit home. And let me tell you, ever since then, I've put more money. In fact, the month after that, I've never put less than 20 grand in my bank account in this industry. 20 grand. That was as a personal producer because I was recruiting a lot, but I sucked as a leader because I was a boss. And the only thing is, it took me 3 years to become an agency owner. I started in 2018, 2020, Jim, I had 0 agents. My team. There's a lot of dead agents because I was too busy trying to teach them to do what I did, right? And that's not what we do here.
And they're not, yeah. Very rarely is someone going to do what you did.
But 20K, I tell this so cold-heartedly to anyone. If you are an agent here and you're full-time, there is no reason why you don't deposit $20,000 into your bank account. And at most, you're putting $4,000 or $5,000 in leads and recruiting. That means you're clearing net 15 grand. There is no reason next month anyone on this call doesn't hit those kind of numbers.
Put
And
a
if you
one in the
don't,
comments if you want to hit those numbers next month.
no reason
15
because they're the
grand
only
in
one
your pocket next
in
month.
your pocket, dude. I have never made less. And Chris told me that. I'm like, okay. And you know, all it was is I just wasn't tracking my numbers. Right. And so it just brought me back to I think the conversation you were hearing me and Marty
Yeah.
talk about, right, was trackers. Like, so we have 2 jobs here, right? We're an agent in our agency, but then we own it. And I want to remind anyone that had a W-2 job is when you walked into that building and when you left that building, there was somebody there before you and there was somebody there after you, or you were that person. And just remember what that first person in and that last person out did was they filled out forms, they filled out trackers. They knew every business in America knows to the dollar how much money is getting deposited tomorrow in the bank. Every single business in America. No business in America. There's no McDonald's. None of them don't know to the penny, Jim. And so I challenge all of y'all. Why don't you know exactly to the penny how much dollars were deposited last week, yesterday, how much went out? And it's just because we don't have a tracker. And it's so simple. Do 30 days on a spreadsheet and deposit, deposit, deposit. And guess what? Here's the reality. We don't get that many deposits. There's 30 days. There's about 25 business days. You maybe get 10 to 15 deposits at the beginning. You have time to fill it out. And you have time to make withdrawals, right? Whatever comes out of your bank account. Dude, when we started tracking that, it's been insane of how many more people got profitable just because they started paying attention to it.
Let's go.
It's not too much money to be made in this industry. It's crazy.
When you're coaching new people, what are you coaching them on outbound effort as far as like what are they investing in time, effort, energy, died? Like what are you telling a new person to invest in money, in dials, activity? What does that conversation look like?
I mean, it's based on what they're looking to do, right? Because that's what I've learned.
Well, we got more than a dozen people right here just put a 1 up and said, I want to make 50 grand next month, right? So talk to them. What do they need to do to get
it's a hamburger joint, right? Like I always reference a restaurant, right? It's a hamburger joint. If you want to sell blank, if you want to deposit 20 grand, that means you got to go write 30, right? I'll give y'all some hard numbers there, right? You got to go write 30 this month, right? In April, you got to go write 30 grand and you'll deposit about 20, depending on your contract level, right? Here's the thing. You got to have plenty of hamburger meat to go sell, right? It's only math. And that's what I loved about Symmetry. It's simple math. Every $250 you invest in leads, you should make at minimum $1,000 in net deposit. And those are the numbers I teach everyone. 250 in leads, $1,000 in net deposit, and it's higher than that, but I go bare minimum. I like to under promise and over deliver. If you're not making those numbers work, you just got to get better, or you got to go do whatever it takes. Because at the end of the day, those are the hard numbers of Symmetry, and it averages out no matter what. Minimum 4 times return. When you start getting good at this, you go to 10x. You go to 10x, dude, and on the work, it's whatever it takes. I don't coach anyone minimum. I don't coach anyone other under 200 dials a day or 6 appointments for tomorrow. Because I don't know what you're doing.
You guys hear that?
200 dials
dials a day. Or
Look,
6 appointments.
Everyone
tomorrow.
tries to tell me it's so much. I want everyone to write this number down: 1,000 dials a week. And I'm going to go bare minimum numbers: 1,000 dials a week. You divide that by the average dial an hour, which they say is 35 dials an hour. That's what they Symmetry teaches, and it's way faster than that if you're on the dialer. But we're going to go 35 dials an hour. Everyone divide 1,000 by 35 and tell me what that is. Put that in the chat. You're going to be surprised, Jim.
I'm doing this math too.
28 and a half hours.
Yeah, 28 and a half.
If you're not making 20 grand a month, you're telling me you ain't working 28 and a half hours a week? I don't know what you're doing. You better quit tomorrow. You're not working. You're not even you're barely part-time if you're not dialing 1,000 dials a week. Now, here's the thing. I hope you don't have to, but that's what it took for me. So I know those numbers like no tomorrow. But 1,000 dials a week is still only 28. Like we talk about IPAs all the time. If you're not running appointments, which normally we're not as a new agent, right? I wish we had. I love it when everyone's like, "Well, I'm going to book so many appointments and they're all going to show." Man, like I wish we had a show problem. We'd be millionaires a long time ago. Like no one shows up. We have a 30 to 40% show rate, right? And so, dude, I don't teach anyone. And then here's the thing. I'm so hard with numbers because it's whatever it takes, like you said, dude. So when somebody comes up to me and they're like, man, especially if they're a seasoned agent, they're like, man, I'm ready to, this is my 20K month. And dude, so I dialed 205 dials and I got 4 appointments. I'm like, oh, so you did bare minimum? You know what I know about bare minimum is you get bare minimum results. And you know what bare minimum results? I bet you if you go into your opt, Jim, bare minimum means we'll just take like the bottom 20 to 30 producers in your agency. They only write 2,500 a month in 2 apps. So if you're under 200 dials or you're at 200 dials, that means you're willing to do bare minimum. I'm giving y'all just numbers from almost every agency I've ever seen. Jim, you can probably confirm this. So bare minimum results is you're going to write 2 applications for about 2,500 this month. If you get to 200 dials and maybe have a few appointments for tomorrow. I was not a bare minimum kind of guy. Like I've dialed 600 when I love what you said. It was Saturday and I had $450 in my bank account and that's it. And I had my car payment and my house payment. And I asked my wife, I'm like, this is it. Like, do I buy leads or what? She goes, I thought you said you can do this. I'm like, I can. She goes, so why are you even asking me? That week, I deposited $3,000 by Friday. The possibilities here are endless. You just got to go do whatever it takes. I'm just giving y'all numbers that took me. Again, I want y'all to remember I suck at this. Dude, I have agents in our agency that dial like 80 dials a week and go write what I write. And I'm like, I hate y'all.
I got a lot.
I'm not that good.
No, I got a lot of agents that need big things, Joe. But they're living in this 150 to 200 dials a week place. And I try to like 150 dials, even just easy math, 30 dials an hour. That's 5 hours of dialing. I'm like, you said me, your goals, your desperation, your want for more was worth 5 hours this week to you. I'm like, that don't sound to me like you want it that bad.
Like I'm the wrong person to go. And look, I love everyone. Right. I'm still going to say, hey, great, go do a little bit more because trust me, you need to. But I knew what it took for me. And that's what I've always loved about Symmetry is you can do whatever it takes for you and everyone's different. And that's what I love about Symmetry. It took a lot of folks a lot less than what it took me. It took me 7 years, right? 6.5 years, 7 years to get to 130. It took you not even half. But you know what I love about Symmetry is we're both here now.
Yep.
And here's the beauty about it is every single one of you can be here now. Just go do whatever it takes for you. And it's different for absolutely everybody. That is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life.
Man, Joe, it's rare for me to have a guest on here that gets me like all fired up. Like well, it's like 9 o'clock at night Eastern. Like I need to go to work like right now. It's rare for me, having run as many calls as I have. This Man, hearing your story, your grit, your determination, your fire, finding a kindred spirit that actually knows what whatever it takes actually means. It's a rare breed. I want you guys to in the comments. I want you to give Joe something. Let him know what this call meant for you. Because here's the thing, he gave up an hour of his evening, and you know now what an hour of his time is worth. This was a huge investment. Okay. He gave an hour of his time. And here's the thing, I can speak for him here. He didn't give an hour of his time because he wanted, like, for people to go, clap, clap. That was a great call. He did this because he wants to know 6 months from now, someone's life was changed because they made a decision. He wants to know a year from now, someone's life and family and legacy is on a different trajectory because of this hour he gave. It's not about that was a great call. It's about, is someone here going to take something and do something different because of it? That's why we do these calls. Joe, I appreciate you so much, man. I hope you're reading some of these comments. You made an impact tonight. You make an impact, but everywhere you go, you can't not because of your spirit and drive. It's really, really awesome.
I appreciate that, dude. I just love everybody, dude. Like this, we found it. Look, I'm telling y'all, if y'all haven't given yourself permission, you found it. So many times because of so many past experience, we're so reserved to give it everything, right? To give whatever it takes because we're like, hey, every time I gave it whatever it took, it got me nowhere. And I want to leave y'all with this. When was the last time, before you came to Symmetry, when was the last time you ever thought or had the vision of, man, I'm going to find my dream job? Because for me, Jim, that was in high school. And what happened 15 years after high school was I stopped looking for my dream job and I started looking for, hey, can I just go make it there?
Yep.
Because of those lessons, right? We've all read books and you've heard this so many times, Jim, right? Because the way life has treated you, you stop giving it your all because you're just reserved and like this is just another one of those places where I'm going to give everything, my time, my life, my energy, and I'm not going to get rewarded like I should. Val Zarn said this so well one time in a corporate overview that we're doing. He goes, I was looking for a place that was going to pay me directly to the impact that I brought to the company. And that's this place. And what I want all of y'all to understand today is you can dream here and this is the place you better give it your all. You gave it to everyone else. Why not give it to yourself? Here's the cool part. You ain't giving it to Jim. You ain't giving it to Kelly Bush. You ain't giving it to no, you're giving it to your own company to change your own life here. There is not a single reason why. I don't care if you're on 50-cent leads or brand new. There's not a reason why you don't deposit $20,000 in your bank account next month. And the only person that makes that choice is you. And this is the one place that you can absolutely give it everything. Get where when you think you've given everything, I promise you there's more to give.
Mm.
And this is the place that will change your life. I have never been able to do the things I've been able to do with my family, with my kids, with my friends, with our team. And when you hit that spot, Jim, the definition or the core value of we have fun and you get stuff done just means a whole lot more.
Yeah. It's so awesome. Brother, thank you. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you. Um, this was awesome. Guys, this is going to be up on YouTube tomorrow. I've already seen in the comments people going to put this one on repeat and replay over and over. I've already seen those comments. And there are those of you that have people that you know need to hear this that were not here. Again, I'll have that replay up tomorrow. You can get it to them. Joe, thank you again, man. Super appreciate
Yeah.
your time. Good
Thanks,
night,
man.
guys.
Later.